Welcome, this is Skip Jeffries at skipjeffreyproductions.com. Jack of many, masters of none. Anyways, I'm trying to work on a project for my wife. We've gotten into gardening the last year and a half. Been kind of hard because I've had a job where I was on the road quite a bit and recently got let go. So I've got some free time on my hands. So I figured I'd go ahead and do the things that I put on hold for a little bit. Anyways, she wanted to have some vertical stackable planters for strawberries, herbs, and little garden or other items across the garden that you put in, like lettuce and stuff and spinach. And anyways, Dollar General's got these almost like a three-potted stackable tier planters for $1.25 each. Pretty cheap investment if you're looking for something to get you by for a quick and easy planter versus doing the stackable ones where you spend 200, $300. But it's a pretty good option. Like I said, been working on this, trying to incorporate a little bit of 3D printing. Here are some of the parts that I've been 3D printed. The first one here is what I call, it goes inside of my 5-gallon bucket. Kind of connects all my little pieces that I've got connected together for the base of it, where the center mass will connect to. It's about a 5-foot, 1.5-inch pipe. But hopefully this thing will open up here and run through this program. FreeCAD is pretty much incorporates a 2D drawing into a 3D type drawing perspective. What it's got on the screen here is that base. I've got both the top and the bottom that I'll be printing out for this project. Pretty neat little design. It's simple. It's just a basic cylinder. We've got the outside radius, and then there's also an inside, and pretty much create your cylinder from that. You take your outer dimensions of your pipe and you kind of cut it in half of your radius, and you pretty much, they call it padded it out, but it creates the image. And then you've got these 3 nubs or 4 nubs on it that connect the 3/4-inch PVC piping, and it connects the top and the bottom portion together, and it goes inside this 5-gallon bucket. Like I said, FreeCAD's a pretty decent program. It's got a learning curve. I mean, I had to do hours of research on YouTube and various sites on the web just to get a handle on it. And what's on the screen now is the second part. It's kind of like the support function that lays underneath each one of these pots here, kind of connects on the bottom part here. Pretty much this is a design I came up with. I used a triangle type program and tried to match it up as best I could. Like I said, it was a WAG and kind of an experiment. And you see here, you've got your inner and outer diameters, and the stuff that's in the green is the actual part itself. But it's pretty cool. Like the same thing, you go in and get all your measurements in. You want to make sure it's fully constrained, and then you pad it out and your part magically appears. This one here took quite a bit of time, probably a couple of days of just on and off messing with it. Like I said, FreeCAD, you get frustrated with the program. But I mean, you stick to it and you eventually, hopefully, get the part that you want that'll work. And this actually worked out pretty decently. I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, getting better at it. And hopefully this next one is the last part. It's the spacer portion that kind of separates these planters when you got more than 2 steps onto each other. There seems to not be too much space left when you start getting more tiers on. So I figured I'd create these spacers to give it a little more space. An extra 6 inches is what it equates out to, but pretty much just a simple cylindrical design. And you just pad it out, and like I said, you do your measurements off whatever you want this thing to fit around. I put a hole in the side because I'm gonna mess with some self-wicking type watering system in these plants. We'll see how it works. I'll probably do another video on this, and hopefully it'll come out and actually work like it should. Like I said, I did one last week and it turned out for the most part. We'll see how the material holds up to the summers here. But all in all, it's going to be a fun project to work on. And here's just a kind of a up close. The cool thing is this is actually on the screen of my computer that I'm doing a screen capture from, and you can actually see it doing the 3D prints. Right now it's looks like it's pretty much laying the down or first layers is what I guess they call it. But pretty much everything starts from there. It's pretty cool. I mean, you could literally watch it print from start to go off this program from your computer, especially if you had your 3D printer located in another room. There's no sense in needing to get up and constantly go from computer to your printer or to sit in front of your printer while it's printing. It's actually a pretty neat idea. And I've heard some good reviews and some bad reviews. Some people had to change out their camera. I mean, I guess if it heats up too much inside the cabinet, it may cause damage to it, but I've used mine for quite a few prints and I haven't had too many issues with it. I had an error message come up, I think, within the first 2 weeks, but it cleared itself. And I think all I had to do was add a SD card to it. So I guess you've got capabilities from actually not only saving prints onto your printer itself, but also I think you're supposed to have the function of being able to save your recordings of your 3D prints itself on it. But I haven't messed too much with it. I've pretty much just been more focusing on doing the 3D drawing part and getting the designs I need to actually fabricate the parts that I need to use on a day-to-day basis. But we'll let it run for a couple minutes here and kind of give you a quick view from the inside of the cabinet type picture from the inside camera. It's pretty cool. But I know, just a side note, Bambu Labs also offers, it's called like a PLA support type material. It's supposed to be easier to break away and separate from your other prints. I tried it on a couple prints with no luck. It just didn't seem to stick too well to the plate, and I had issues with it, and it jacked up 2 or 3 different 3D prints that I had, so I stopped using it. And another note to mention here with it printing like this, I've got 2 3D parts on it printing, so you should see it once it gets the layering down on this one here. It'll jump to the other one. Here it goes, jumping to the other print, and it'll just kind of do it by layer by layer. And the other keynotes, I mean, the X1 Carbon does have the capabilities of printing in multiple colors, which I haven't done yet or attempted outside of when I've run out of filament and then had to splice in another one, and it kind of picks it up. I had no separation issues, but you do have the function to actually, in the program itself, if you wanted your 3D print to have 2 or 3 different layers of color, I mean, you've got the option that with the AMS system that comes with the X1 Carbon, you've got the possibility of having 4 or even 5 if you hook up an external roll, which I'd have to do more research on it. But if you're into that detail of 3D printing and having the different color option, it's pretty cool. Like I said, I'll just let it go ahead and print on here and let it go for a little bit and let you guys kind of see. Like I said, if you've never seen 3D printer in action, it's pretty cool to watch. This is, like I said, I've done this a couple of times now, and the ambiance of it just kind of wore off. So I mean, it's printing up. I know what it's doing, but if you're new to it, it's kind of cool to watch. It's pretty amazing that you can take something from a 3D design and actually print it out in your house. I mean, I'm a Gen X kid and thought of that when I was in my maybe teenage years or even in my 20s. It seemed like it was something that you'd see on the Jetsons. But it's a technology that's pretty cool, relatively easy to learn and pick up. Like I said, we'll let it run for a while and give you kind of a bird's eye view on what's going on. See it in action. It's, like I said, it's pretty cool to watch if you're new to 3D printing. And hopefully this print won't jack up, but I've had pretty good success rates. Like I said, I've done numerous prints and several of them have turned out pretty good. I've had maybe 1 or 2 cases where it was either my error or just a filament error. And that's the other thing you gotta watch too, is the moisture content of your filament on certain filaments that you're using. Usually PLA is pretty forgiving. I've found out so far by using it. Haven't had too many issues. I know you do have bed sticking issues once your percentage gets above 3. And as you can see in the screen here, let me see if I can use my pointer, but this here kind of is your indicator of your humidity within your print chamber. So you want to make sure that stays at least 2 and below. Once it starts creeping up to 3, it gets a little non-sticky situation going on inside your printer. I'm going to pause this video for a little bit. We'll restart it again once we get a little bit closer to finishing out. As you can see from the video here, you can see the sports going on right here. And then it's actually started printing the base of the V part itself. Like I said, it's a pretty cool process to watch if you're new to it, but if you're not, it's just another 3D print. Yeah, you can see here, you can actually see the separation between your supports and your layer on that nub that's sticking out on that part I've created. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool design. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Anyways, I'll let it keep on printing. I'll hit pause because I ain't gonna waste your time watching this. Here we're sitting at about 25%. As you see, we've still got 2 hours and about 34 minutes left to print, so it's not a quick and easy process. It takes some time, so sit back, have a couple drinks, and enjoy your time watching it print. All right, sitting at about 50% here. Print's looking pretty good so far, no issues. Pretty happy with it. I'll let this thing keep on printing and we'll be back later. We're sitting at about 75%. So far, the print's looking pretty good. Yeah, hopefully it'll fit. Hopefully our measurements were correct. But anyways, should be able to tell in less than 50 minutes. Probably about another hour. It's got to let them cool a little bit before you touch them. Takes about 5 minutes for these plates to cool. All right, this print's about finished up printing. So far, no issues, looking good. Probably finish this video off. It's about 15 minutes, 16 minutes, and it's quite a long time to have somebody watching. But anyways, catch me on the next one. We'll see if these suckers fit. Talk to you later. Bye. Here we go. We open up the Bambu Labs program here off my computer. I'm gonna go ahead and print out this last inner body support for our 3D project. Pretty easy. Just kind of go in, do your auto positioning. It pretty much puts it on there. And what you're looking for is to make sure that you can cut down the amount of supports that you need for this project here. And it's looking pretty good. I think we've got it where we'll use the least amount of, or waste the least amount of filament. So we'll go ahead and slice this part. And it looks like everything went pretty good. Slice went okay. Let's go ahead and kind of do a quick double check down through the slices and verify you got your supports in there. And it's quick and easy as hitting print to plate. Go ahead and send it to your printer. Voila. And we'll go ahead and let this thing kind of run through. I'm going to hit the pause button here for a little bit. And all right, we'll go ahead and get this print started here. It's working on its lower main foundation. And I'll just kind of momentarily go through this and kind of pause it and let it run through. I don't want this being a long video. I think there was a pretty good explanation on the frames beforehand. So like I said, I'll just kind of pause it interruptedly here along the way and just give you a quick brief overlap of what's going on with it and where it's at within the print. This print itself here is about 1 hour and 40 minutes, so times that by 6, and it's quite a lot of time invested in printing your own parts out. But I'm going to go ahead and pause it and kind of just let it print for a while, come back and check on it at about 25%. Here's the part sitting at about 25% completion. As you can see from the screen here, we've got pretty much progressing all along. This area in here is your support material. As you can see, it's kind of cross-hatched in there, makes it easy to break away from the material. But I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and let this thing kind of finish up, and I'll check back with you at about 50%. Here we're sitting at about 50%. As you can see from the screen there, see the better define of the support material underneath. But I'll let this continue printing out and I'll come back to you at about 75%. Here we're sitting at about 75%. As you can see, we got a slight color change. Had to do a filament change. So hopefully it doesn't screw up the print too much. But I mean, for our purposes and it being an outside planner, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. But we'll go ahead and let this sucker print out some more and I'll get back at you at about 100% at the finish. Alright, this part's finishing up here, doing its last layer. But anyways, I'll let this run through and we'll go ahead and on to the next part. As you can see, the white doesn't look too bad, but it happens. I mean, you run out of filament. It's the second time it's happened to me, so I'm sure it's going to happen a couple more times. I think next time I'll order at least 2 or 3 of the same color, maybe keep them all at least the same color when it comes to printing parts out. But it shouldn't make too big of a difference. I mean, we're just testing these parts out for functionality. And in all reality, it's going on a Dollar General type planner anyway, so if it holds up, it holds up. If it doesn't, oh well. We got another place, at least we got a starting point to work from. But anyways, again, I thank you guys for watching. This is a third attempt on this video here. Hopefully the sound will come through on this time. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I guess when you're recording you get all kinds of errors, but anyways, praying, fingers crossed that this works. But these are my last 3D print for the Dollar General pot design that we're coming up with here. There's a total of 8 pieces here. Looking at the configuration on this thing, you could possibly print all 8 out. You'd have to check your spacing, but mainly, I mean, the amount that you can print or the size of the print is based on your 3D printer itself and the plate size and your X, Y, and Z coordinations that you got available with your printer. But I know I've printed 6 of these at one time for the last time I did a project of the similar thing with my wife with these Dollar General things, and I was able to print 6 of them out, so no problem. I think the spacing was a little bit far apart. I possibly could have even gotten all 8 at once, but normally the way I like to do 3D prints is, especially if it's a new part or new design or a brand new 3D print, I go ahead and print out a test part to begin with and just make sure the fit and everything else looks good. And I did this again with this one here because I had to change the inner diameters so that would fit the larger size pipe. I think I went from 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches on this project here, and the first print came out perfect, so I went ahead and pressed. I did 4 and then the final print of 3 here. So like I said, again, hopefully my fingers crossed that this project will work out for me. But anyways, I'm gonna finish off this print. I don't want to have this time to add up to total video being longer than what it has to be, but I'll come back with closing statements in another section here. But thanks for watching. Just to wrap things up, this is what 1.2 kilograms of filament in 33 hours gets you. Cost me about, I'd say, to include electricity, if you do the corrections the way everybody else does, about $61. But to ask me, would I do this again? Maybe ask me in another year. It was a lot of work, a lot of 3D printing. But anyways, thanks for watching.